We're high up in the mountains in the southwest of China near the Burmese border, and we're on our way to meet the Mosuo people, who live in a remote place which is also known as the land where women rule. We're going to spend a week there to find out what life is like in one of the world's last matriarchies. The 40,000 people strong Mosuo tribe live in the foothills of the Himalayas, practice Tibetan Buddhism, and are most famous for their unique family structure. Instead of giving the responsibility of family stability to men, whose tendency to go wherever their dick points can be unreliable, it's the women who are in charge of the house, and inheritance goes from mother to daughter. And rather than traditional marriages, they have something called walking marriages, allowing women to have as many boyfriends as they please throughout their lives. To get to Lugu Lake from the nearest city, Lijian, is an 8-hour drive on mainly high-altitude dirt roads. This is one of the least developed regions in China, with no nearby railroads. So when we arrived, we were surprised to see so many Chinese tourists. So different than what I had imagined. On the way here, it felt like going back in time, but everyone just looks completely normal, aside from some badass grandmas, and there are lots of cars and hotels and hair salons. To find out more about the Mosuo, we headed to the local museum.
摩梭人在这边土生土长的这摩梭人，这是我们这摩梭家园的一个小模型。花楼就是我们摩梭成年女子住的一个地方。成人以前呢，我们都是跟着这个祖母，住在这个祖母屋里面的。
What makes the Mosuo matriarchy a matriarchy?
大家庭里面是没有父亲的。摩梭家园的话呢，就是我们的祖母是最大的。满了13岁，举行了那个成人礼之后呢，我们就是在这个花楼上就有自己的房间了。然后这个男孩子呢，就是可以走婚了的意思。形式呢是男方到女方家上门走访，第二天早晨回到自己的家中，仍然各居母家，所以被称之为走婚。
The girl from the museum told us to check out the lake and the famous walking marriage bridge where people go on dates. But rather than starstruck lovers, the bridge was full of tourists taking selfies. Even I became a tourist attraction. What do you think about the culture here, the matriarchal culture? Mystery? Do you think it's different being a woman here than in the rest of China? Do you think women are happier here? Contributing to the boost in domestic tourism is the fascination with the Mosuo way of life that's often been scandalized and eroticized. It seemed like the only Mosuo around were the girls selling barbecue, so I had a chat with one of them to find out if the bridge was still used for romancing. Lucy, did you have a date on the bridge?
是的，以前都是我们两个正在约会的，后面就一起跳舞，慢慢的就认识了，我就跟他就在一起了，跟他就走婚了。两个人喜欢了，有感情了，就慢慢的走过来，这里约会见面。开始跟他走婚了，才是跟他在一块的。两个人不在一起了，他就不喜欢了，就不在一起了。
That's a healthy outlook.
喜欢我的人男孩子很多的，但是我就喜欢上我的老公嘛。
So even though your culture allows you to date as many guys as you want before you settle for one, you still went for just one guy.
这是哥哥的喜欢嘛，是吧？老公的话是他是没什么压力的，压力不大。生活在一起大家庭里面的话是都是一样，没什么很大的压力嘛。你们大城市里面的话买车买房什么的是压力很大的，是吧？女方的话就我要孩子嘛，压力自己家里面挣钱，带孩子什么对女孩子做嘛，是吧？就压力的话就比男孩子大一些。
Unlike in traditional marriages, in which couples live together, and historically the man would be the provider, the Mosuo never leave their family home, and it's the woman's brothers and uncles who take on the father role. Still, that often means the women have to provide. I was curious to know how the men felt about living in a matriarchy, so we got some guys to take us out on a boat ride. A typical Mosuo first date.
多半都在跟女孩子划船嘛。以前走婚的时候都是划船到里面那个草坪里面去玩。有时候有个情人屋嘛，里面草坪里面还有个情人屋，多半都跟女孩划船的多半。
So romantic, very romantic. Have things changed since the old days in terms of how the walking marriage works?
民族走婚的时候，你男的上女方家去了，女方家那个妈妈听见了的，他当作没听见一样，他不可能来抓你。你反正不是住嘴的话就不能。
走婚这个来说的话，我已经走了的姑娘将近上150了。以前我开大车的时候嘛，嘎，先这个村庄走了，哎，我说家里有事，在2点钟起床了，2点起床，有些姑娘在酒吧烧烤里面耍，给我打电话。 我要去在酒吧里面烧烤里面，要喊个在街上有睡觉。
So women here work really hard. Do men have more spare time?
走婚这个对男生是最好的一个时代了。家里面活儿什么都不怎么重嘛，反正都一般都女的当家，还可能都女的来管家嘛。我们都一般都很少干活。
我跟你说，其实真是这个。今天你在吃烧烤那个，他也不是，有时候老公不是可以走小婚了，还是走嘛？啊，这是正常现象。
These days, most Mosuo are monogamous. But in the past, taking many lovers was common and still isn't considered a big deal. After the boat ride, Lugu invited me to her house for dinner. She's 32, has a son, and lives in her family home with her mom, sisters, and all their kids. There were no men around. All the women got involved in the dinner preparations. It was fascinating to see how her family was completely self-sufficient, bringing every meal from field to table on their own. The concept of supermarkets is still pretty new to them, and many Mosuo make less than $200 a year, so they're relying on producing their own food.
They're putting in like this much lard per dish. It's just covered in fat. That's why it's so tasty. I don't understand it. Everyone here is super skinny though.
他说这些太凉了，等下就。
这个是猪膘肉，你吃一口猪膘肉。
谢谢。
拿去吃。
This looks delicious.
那个是猪膘肉，我们的特色猪肉。这个是湖里面的那个小虾，刚刚院子里面摘过来的那个生菜。
这些都是当地的原生态的东西。
In London, where I live, a meal like this would be super expensive because it's all locally produced, homegrown, organic.
好吃吗？
Is that good? Sometimes, yeah, I got like a Sichuan pepper.
那一点慢慢的吃。
So how long have you lived in this house?
这个房子里面住了几十年，外婆的一代嘛，外婆修的房子，外婆一代，妈妈一代，现在我们一代已经走了3代，3代人。现在我们的孩子一代就4代人了嘛，4代人了。
3 generations.
已经走了3代人了。女的住在一起，还有姊妹住在一起，不分家嘛。姊妹住在一起生活嘛。妈妈在家里面喂猪，家里面喂猪，看家务。妈妈就带家里面看孩子们。
Your partners, the father of your kids, they don't live here with you?
看不见的是个黑了才过来的。
Lugu only had one partner, but some women have had many walking marriages and have children with many Mosuo men. Just like the women, men stay with their own families and take care of their sister's kid, but they can be part of their biological children's lives if they want to.
我们的话就从小就跟妈妈一起生活，不分家，跟妈妈一起过生活，走到老的过到老的一天的。我们的老公还有姐姐的老公都是早婚的嘛，早婚晚上才过来生活在一起，白天的话就各自各的家庭，平时生活不在一起嘛，晚上才过来走婚的话，就平时吵架的那些就很少。 Mosuo人离婚的那些很少，都是走婚的，走到老的一天，走到一辈子的。看 他说他不喜欢照相，他说他不喜欢照相。然后我说你看你睡着的嘛。
The women who have worked really hard in the fields and carrying heavy loads and cooking and taking care of a family are then rewarded when they're older by becoming the most important figure in the household, the grandma. And every day she's surrounded by her entire family. And everyone just seems so happy.
The next morning, we were invited over to the Mosuo's most famous craftswoman, called Akidizima, who also works for the government and holds an important position in the community.
The Mosuo wear really beautiful, colourful clothes. Do you think that this is because it's a matriarchy and that women like things to be beautiful?
有关系，爱美嘛，喜欢漂亮嘛，是吧？因为年轻人呢，现在他是需要练一点的，然后呢比较宣的，是吧？然后中年的这部分呢比较素净的那一部分，然后老年的这部分呢，人跟着老了以后呢，就穿的服饰也是比较沉重一点的这个。年纪大一点了嘛，我们也穿这个。做事的时候穿着这个服装、这个服饰的话就比较重，也都不太方便，然后都穿这个服装比较简单嘛，是吧？
Akidizima's work is so famous that her blankets and clothes are shipped all over the world. I wanted to know if the young Mosuo were as fascinated by the traditional handicraft as I was.
咱们本来就是摩梭人，保护咱们的文化就是咱们自己的本身的一个责任。
There's piles and piles of Mosuo attempted Burberry. Do you know a British brand called Burberry?
这些呢都是我们妇女系一针一线织出来的，然后呢畅销全国各地。这个
Are the young girls being taught how to weave? Is there an interest in it?
以前的老人就会，然后骨子里面就有这个，咱们学这个就是咱们应该的，或者就是说咱们本民族的一种事情，好像这样的，然后都骨子里面都有这个，但是很会，但是呢，他们就不愿意做，因为他没有多少收入。
Is it a problem that so many of the young people are more interested in the outside world?
这个是很大的一个问题，因为留在家里面呢，他必须要有经济收入。没有经济收入的话，他也留不住他嘛。这一期呢，就是保护动物的皮子。
Did the Mosuo women, were they warriors too?
摩梭女人呢，她是管理生的问题，她不打仗不杀生，杀生的都是死的东西都是男人做。
It was interesting to see someone so in touch, both with ancient traditions and modern life. I wanted to know her thoughts on women's social status in Mosuo culture.
女性呢，就是说开心也是很开心，累也是很累，大小事情都我们女人去管理呀，然后说呀，然后做呀，这些都大部分都是我们女人做，比较有一种就是责任的这个感觉。知道吗？我小儿子，你看，很帅的。
Yeah, he's a little bit too young for me.
你就嫁给他吧，是吧？
If I would enter a walking marriage with your son, what would my life be like?
你可以学织布啊，然后你做什么都可以啊，然后你不用去田里面劳动嘛，肯定你田里面劳动跟我们可能是不会的，你可以管理家里面的这些。但是还得做饭啊，做饭是必须要得做的。
In China, the Mosuo's romantic life has in the past often been described as promiscuous.
有好多就是不好的物件也多嘛，他们写的就是走婚是怎么样了，然后都不好的这些东西都有嘛。然后摩梭呢，他是无夫无妇的，然后没有爸爸的，没有丈夫的，他们都有这样的说法嘛。但是现在这几年，目前现在对摩梭的了解比较深刻一点了以后呢，摩梭的文化才是真正的最对世界最先进的一种。然后我们已经是婚姻也好，家庭也好，然后呢，所有的这些关系都走在了世界的前列了嘛，是吧？现在是世界人都在来学我们摩梭嘛，是吧
？When we left Akudizima's workshop, I decided to talk to the oldest generation of Mosuo women, who could tell us about the old days, before they had roads or electricity. So I met up with Luzu's mother, who offered to show me around.
So Luzu's mom is gonna take us to see a friend, to have some tea. Can't believe how fast she's walking. I'm like struggling to keep up. Do you still appreciate the nature here, even though you see it every day?
Lugu Lake was scenic, but it was also being massively remodeled, as more hotels, roads, and an airport were under construction. I got the feeling we might be the last film crew to capture life in Lugu Lake before the tourists invade on a whole new level.
So you love Mao? Are you worried that with all these changes and all these new opportunities for young people that the ancient Mosuo traditions are disappearing? I was under the impression that in a matriarchy, the women would be treated like queens and the men would be doing most of the hard work. But it seems like women are working way harder here.
After tea, Luzu's mum proudly took me out to the field. She'd worked and farmed her whole life.
I should do it like this? Oh my god, this is heavy. Do you do this all day? You must have such muscles. I mean, look at this place. It's like ridiculously beautiful and organic and everything. But it's sort of lost a bit of its charm to me after having had tea with the grandmas, because I can't help but feeling that matriarchy here is just a way of glorifying housewives and the women work so hard. But at least they're being appreciated for what they're doing. They're the ones inheriting the property. And it's pretty sensible, actually. You'll never have a woman on the street with her kids not knowing where to go or how to feed them. And they're always getting lots of help from their family, so there are no divorces. There's no slut shaming. There's a sort of acknowledgement of how love is something fleeting. And in their own way, they have found some form of gender balance, I guess.
To find out how the younger girls felt about the very traditional way of life that the Mosuo still lead, we caught up with our museum guide Kumu and her best friend Zima, both in their early 20s.
觉得这边还是有点落后这样子，还是挺向往那种出去的那种，还是想去外面看一下。
So, what are your hopes for the future?
我自己吧，还是向往那种汉族人，就是两个人生活在一起的那种。但是我家人肯定不会同意的。对，然后这样的话呢，反正以后再说吧，就是。
如果以后就找外面的话，可能就还是会想跟他两个人组建家庭这样子，然后就经常回来看看这样子。还是得一个人自己说一招。
对着你后面那个人大声喊出吓一跳，把你的口水喷到他脸上去啊！
Oh.
就这样。
So I'm getting all dressed up to go to a Mosuo dance. It's really exciting. I hope I'm not too big for the clothes. They're so tiny. So you guys have like, you have smartphones, you listen to pop music and you like Twilight and things like that. What do your grandmothers think about that?
我们听那些音乐的话，他们会觉得就是说唱的些什么呀？他们听不懂。
有的时候还要被骂呢，说不唱我们那舞了。他们的话都不喜欢让我们化妆。
So does any sort of flirting happen at these dances?
我们这里，我们村的男孩子和我们不怎么那个，
不怎么来电，因为都很熟了嘛。
是啊，都很熟。他们觉得。
So if I think a boy is cute, what are the codes?
抠手心。然后我们是这样牵手这样跳的，如果你喜欢的话，你就抠他3下。3下。
So I do this 3 times with my finger? If I think someone's cute? Okay. So who's your dream boy?
我比较喜欢那个钟汉良。
我那个韩国的那个金宇彬。
So like the K-pop stars?
他们现在都不喜欢了。
Yeah.
现在的话都比较喜欢有男人味的那种。
Me too. I'm done with boys.
抱错了错却只死了错爱错只可怜了错了过呀。
The dances used to be a way for Mosuo to flirt, but these days, like everything else, it seemed to mainly serve as entertainment for tourists. It was our last night, so we all went to the local pub, and Luzu and her cousin joined us to say goodbye.
Have you ever experienced heartbreak?
我们这个村的话还算比较古老，
他们新年的话，我们就姐妹一起约着，然后一起喝酒这样。如果喜欢那个的话，我们就会全部一起过去打论那个男孩，这样真的。
很多人都是一部分都是很想外面的生活。
想去外面看看的话是每个人都是想去的。
They told us almost 80% of young Mosuo leave for bigger cities, where they often get married and lead mainstream lives.
我是从四川南充师范学校毕业的，现在但是在家里面一直帮家里面平常就做一些农活。
If you would go to a bigger city, would you stay there and try to find a wife there and a life there, or would you come back?
我应该还是会选择回来，因为还是自己家乡是自己最爱的。
Lugu Lake is a place in transition, and the young Mosuo we met seemed frustrated about being caught between ancient tradition and the temptations of the new China at their fingertips. Although their lives were far from perfect, they were just as annoyed with social structures as anyone else. They definitely had something special, and it was unclear if their traditions would survive.